Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to Can Do Polish by PolishPod101.com.
Cześć wszystkim, jestem Emil Nowak. Hi everyone, I'm Emil Nowak. In this lesson, you'll learn how to tell someone where you're from in Polish.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Poland. Maciej Mazur, a passenger sitting next to him, asks, "Where are you from?"
Skąd pan jest?
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Note, the speakers in this conversation use formal Polish. Ready?
Skąd pan jest?
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
Once more with the English translation.
Skąd pan jest?
Where are you from?
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
I'm from New York.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Maciej Mazur asks, "Where are you from?"
Skąd pan jest?
First is
Skąd?
meaning from where.
Skąd? Skąd?
Next is
Pan jest.
you are in this context.
Pan jest.
Let's start with
Pan.
translating as you in this formal context.
Pan. Pan.
Note,
Pan.
is a formal way to address a male, and it often translates as Mr. Next is
Jest.
literally is, but in this context it translates as are.
Jest. Jest.
Together in this conversation,
Pan jest.
literally means Mr. is, but translates as you are in formal Polish.
Pan jest. Jest.
Is from the verb
Być.
meaning to be.
Być.
Altogether,
Skąd pan jest?
literally from where Mr. is, but it translates as where are you from?
Skąd pan jest?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later in this lesson.
Now, let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Mark Lee says, "I'm from New York"?
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
First is
Jestem.
I am.
Jestem. Jestem.
Note in this sentence
Jestem.
is a shortened form of
Ja jestem.
I am. In Polish,
Ja.
I is usually omitted as it's understood from context.
Jestem.
Is from the verb
Być.
meaning to be.
Być.
Last is
Z Nowego Jorku.
meaning from New York.
Z Nowego Jorku.
Let's start with
Nowego Jorku.
which is placed in the genitive case because it follows
Z. Nowego Jorku.
is the genitive form of the proper noun
Nowy Jork.
New York.
Nowy Jork.
In Polish, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Jork.
Is masculine singular, a fact that will determine the form of other words in the sentence.
Jork.
Becomes
Jorku.
when it is placed in the genitive.
Nowy.
Becomes
Nowego.
to agree with
Jorku.
in gender, number, and case. Together,
Nowego Jorku.
before
Nowego Jorku.
is
Z.
from.
Z. Z.
Altogether,
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
I'm from New York.
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
The pattern is
Jestem z. Location.
I'm from location.
Jestem z. Location.
To use this pattern, simply replace the location placeholder with the name of your hometown. Note, this pattern requires a proper noun placed in the genitive and works with the names of cities, villages, towns, or countries. Imagine you're from Sydney. In Polish,
Sydney. Sydney. Sydney.
note the genitive form of
Sydney.
is.
Sydney.
Say, I'm from Sydney. Ready?
Jestem z Sydney.
I'm from Sydney.
Jestem z Sydney.
Polish operates with three words for you. Ty. You. Informal term. Pan. You. Formal term to address a male. Pani. You. Formal term to address a female. When talking about where you're from, the pattern jestem z requires the proper noun of a location, and this location name must be placed in the genitive.
There are some simple rules that will help you create the genitive case based on the ending of the noun. First, masculine nouns in Polish tend to end in consonants. To form the genitive for masculine, singular nouns, attach
A.
or.
U. Kraków.
Krakow becomes.
Krakowa. Londyn.
London becomes.
Londynu.
As a rule of thumb for masculine nouns, inanimate nouns or nouns of foreign origin in the genitive often end with
U. Nowego Jorku.
New York.
Nowego Jorku. Biznes.
Business becomes.
Biznesu.
Feminine nouns tend to end in.
A.
To form the genitive of feminine singular nouns, replace the
A.
ending with an.
Warszawa.
Warsaw becomes.
Warszawy.
If the noun ends in an,
K. Ga.
replace the last letter with an.
I. Polska.
Poland becomes.
Polski.
If the noun ends in
Ci.
or,
Zi.
replace the letter with an
C.
or
Z.
and attach an
I.
at the end.
Łódź.
Lodz becomes.
Łodzi.
Neuter nouns tend to end in an.
O.
To form the genitive of neuter singular nouns, replace the ending
O.
with an.
A. Maroko.
Morocco becomes.
Maroka.
Note there is a set of irregular nouns, such as
Seattle.
or,
Sydney.
that don't change in the genitive. Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Jestem z Nowego Jorku. Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
Jestem z Suwałk, a ty? Jestem z Suwałk, a ty?
Jestem z Seattle, a pan? Jestem z Seattle, a pan?
Jestem z Londynu, a pani? Jestem z Londynu, a pani?
Jestem z Polski. Jestem z Polski.
Jestem Australijką. Jestem Australijką.
Did you notice how the last speaker uses a different pattern?
Jestem Australijką.
I'm Australian.
Jestem Australijką.
First is
Jestem.
I am.
Jestem. Jestem.
Next is
Australijką.
an Australian woman.
Australijką. Australijką.
Note:
Australijką.
is the instrumental form of the feminine noun
Australijka.
Australian.
Australijka.
To form the instrumental case for feminine singular nouns ending in
A.
replace it with
On. Australijka.
becomes.
Australijką.
This pattern is
Jestem nationality.
I'm nationality. To use this pattern, simply replace the nationality placeholder with your nationality. Note: this pattern requires a noun in the instrumental case, and its gender will depend on the gender of the speaker. Mia Martin uses
Australijką.
Jestem Australijką.
a male speaker from Australia would use
Australijczykiem. Jestem Australijczykiem.
I'm Australian.
Jestem Australijczykiem.
Note:
Australijczykiem.
is the instrumental form of the masculine noun.
Australijczyk.
To form the instrumental case for masculine singular nouns with the ending
G.
or
K.
n
I.
is added before the instrumental ending
M. Australijczyk.
becomes.
Australijczykiem.
You can use this response to answer the question,
Skąd pan jest? Skąd pani jest?
or its informal form.
Skąd jesteś?
You should be aware of this pattern, but you won't need it for this lesson. Let's review the new vocabulary.
Suwałki.
Suwaki,
Suwałki. Suwałki. Z Suwałk.
from Suwaki,
Z Suwałk. Seattle.
Seattle,
Seattle. Seattle. Z Seattle.
from Seattle,
Z Seattle. Londyn.
London,
Londyn. Londyn. Z Londynu.
from London,
Z Londynu. Polska.
Poland,
Polska. Polska. Z Polski.
from Poland.
Z Polski. A pan?
And you, mister?
A pan? A pani?
And you, miss?
A pani? A ty?
And you?
A ty?
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then, repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say from? Z. Z. And how to say from New York? Z Nowego Jorku. z Nowego Jorku. Do you remember how Mark says, I'm from New York?
Jestem z Nowego Jorku.
Jestem z Nowego Jorku. Do you remember how to say, from where? Skąd? Skąd? And do you remember how Maciej Mazur asks, where are you from? Literally, from where Mr. is.
Skąd pan jest?
Skąd pan jest? Do you remember how to say, from London? Z Londynu. Z Londynu. And how to say, from Seattle? Z Seattle. Z Seattle. Do you remember how to say, from Poland? Z Polski. Z Polski.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Jack Jones from London. Respond to Maciej Mazur's question. Ready?
Skąd jesteś?
Jestem z Londynu.
Listen again and repeat.
Jestem z Londynu. Jestem z Londynu.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Emma Englert from Seattle. Ready?
Skąd pani jest?
Jestem z Seattle.
Listen again and repeat.
Jestem z Seattle. Jestem z Seattle.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Emil Nowak from Poland. Ready?
Skąd pan jest?
Jestem z Polski.
Listen again and repeat.
Jestem z Polski. Jestem z Polski.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to say where you're from in Polish. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to PolishPod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned how to thank people by saying dziękuję. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Poland. Gotowi? Are you ready? Zaczynamy. Let's start. There are a few informal greetings in Polish. Cześć. Cześć. Cześć means hi or hello. Another informal greeting is siema. Siema. This phrase also means hi, but it's used only by young people. Another very common greeting is hey. 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 Hey is very easy because it's exactly the same as English hey. All these greetings are very informal, and we should only use them with friends or close relatives. Now let's move on to formal greetings in Polish. There are only two that you need to know. We'll start with dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Literally, dzień dobry means good day. We can use dzień dobry during the whole day, from early morning until evening. If it's the evening, we would say dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór. What should you say when you leave? Polish people usually say do widzenia when living in a formal situation. Do widzenia. Do widzenia means goodbye. If, however, we are saying goodbye to friends or relatives, we can use the informal papa. Pa, or simply pa. Now you can greet people and say goodbye in many different ways in Polish. Let's review them all again. First, formal greetings. Dzień dobry. Use this phrase during the day. Dobry wieczór. Use this phrase in the evening. The informal greetings are cześć, siema, hej. When living in a formal situation, we say do widzenia. And in an informal situation, it's papa or just pa. Easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Do you remember siema? It's an abbreviation of jak się masz, which means how are you? But we just use it in the same way as hi. It's a very common greeting among young people. You will find, as you continue to study Polish, that new greetings constantly appear among young people who often come up with new uses for well-known phrases or their abbreviations. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase Czy mówisz po angielsku? Do you already know it? See you in the next Polski w 3 minuty lesson. Pa! Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to PolishPod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Poland. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Polish, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Here's an informal way to say it. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy is a particle which has no meaning. It's similar to the English do. In Polish, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Since you can understand what the pronoun is by looking at the verb conjugation, we usually skip the pronoun itself. That's why there's no pronoun after czy. Next, we've got the verb mówisz, which means speak. Then there's po, which we always have to put right before a language name. And finally, angielsku, which means English. We're now going to make this sentence formal. First of all, we have to change mówisz into mówi, because the pronoun is changed from you into a respectful pronoun meaning sir or ma'am. Then we add pan, which means sir, or pani, which means ma'am. Everything else stays the same. Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Adding przepraszam, excuse me, makes the sentence more polite. Przepraszam, czy mówi pan po angielsku? Przepraszam, czy mówi pani po angielsku? The response you will receive could be one of these four. Tak, yes. Tak. Trochę, a little, trochę. Nie. No. Nie. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. No, I don't speak English. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. Since the last one is a negative statement, we need to say nie before the verb mówię. Notice also that the verb is slightly different than before. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ourselves, so the sentence is nie mówię po angielsku. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Polish people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute po angielsku with po niemiecku for German, po rosyjsku for Russian, po włosku for Italian, po hiszpańsku for Spanish, po francusku for French. Today we mentioned the expression przepraszam, but did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Polish. It's never too late to show your good manners with Polish people. I see you in our next Polski w 3 minuty lesson. Do zobaczyska!
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello everybody, this is Marzena from polishpod101.com, and today I want to talk about 2 different ways of giving reasons in Polish. So, to give reasons in Polish, you have basically 2 choices. And we will talk about both, and we will say what the difference is, and there is mostly difference in structure, and because of that the meaning changes only a little bit, but they are very, very similar. So first of all, one way of giving reasons in Polish is to use the word żeby or aby. And you can choose whichever you like better. So you can choose, you can use żeby or you can use aby. The meaning is the same, the formality level is the same roughly. And they both mean in order to, And to use żeby or aby in a sentence, you must remember one very important rule. So both żeby and aby are always being followed by an infinitive. So a verb in infinitive form, when we give reasons, of course, they're always being followed by a verb in infinitive form. What does it mean? Well, infinitive form is just like a dictionary form, like the simplest form you learn, and then you kind of conjugate that and make it more difficult. So actually this is easy to use because you just use the verb in an infinitive form. And it can be single verb, or it can be verb as with many other words together, so as a phrase. But the verb in that phrase has to be in infinitive form. So now let's look at a couple of examples. Uczę się polskiego, żeby pojechać do Polski. Uczę się polskiego, żeby pojechać do Polski. This means uczę się polskiego, I'm studying Polish, żeby, in order to, pojechać do Polski, go to Poland. And again, like you can change this żeby here into aby, and there is absolutely no problem with that. This is the same sentence. So you can also say uczę się polskiego, aby pojechać do Polski. And the meaning stays the same. Notice that the verb pojechać here, pojechać, is in the infinitive form. And in Polish, almost all verbs in infinitive form have this ci at the end. So pojechać is the dictionary form, infinitive form. Pojechać do Polski. So this is a whole phrase. Doesn't really matter if it's only a verb or a whole phrase, but the verb has to stay infinitive. Then we have next one, ćwiczę, aby być w formie. Ćwiczę, aby być w formie. Again, we start with a verb here, ćwiczę, I exercise, aby, in order to, być w formie. Być w formie, to stay fit, in order to stay fit. So I exercise in order to stay fit. Again, we have być. Być is the verb, so to be, and it's in its infinitive form. Again, the ci here is kind of showing us that it's a verb in infinitive form. And you can change this aby into żeby, not a problem. Now, the last example is a little bit different. So, przyjechałem do Polski, żeby uczyć się polskiego. Przyjechałem do Polski, żeby uczyć się polskiego. What does it mean? Well, przyjechałem do Polski means I came to Poland. So, notice that uczę się or ćwiczę, they are both in the present tense. While przyjechałem is actually a masculine form, so a guy would say that, and this is a past tense. So this is past tense from the verb przyjechać, to come. Przyjechałem, I came. So you can use this żeby or aby with past tense, with future tense, with present tense, it doesn't really matter. It's all here in the first part, while the second part always stays in the infinitive form. So the first part can be past tense if we are talking about past, or future tense if we are talking about future, or can be present tense if we are talking about present. But the second part always has to be in the infinitive form, so the dictionary form. And also one important note, so here you can use żeby or aby, whichever you like. But also, there is one more usage to this. So this is giving reasons, but please note that żeby with past tense, so not infinitive form but past tense, can be also used for requests. Requests. So not reasons but requests. We will not cover it here today because that's a little bit different topic, but please remember that if you don't use it with infinitive form, but you use it with past tense, then it's a request. And then we have another way of giving reasons. So we already covered żeby, aby, and we will look at another way. So now, another way of giving reasons in Polish is to use bo. Bo means just because, and it's very simple and very similar to English actually. So same as in English, because is being followed by a sentence. And here in Polish as well, bo is being followed by a whole sentence. So not only infinitive form, but the whole sentence. And for example, you can say, uczę się polskiego, bo chcę pojechać do Polski. Uczę się polskiego, bo chcę pojechać do Polski. This means almost the same as we've done before. So uczę się polskiego means I'm studying Polish, bo, because, chcę pojechać do Polski. Chcę, I want to. Because I want to go to Poland. And please notice that if we take this first part and we just leave chcę pojechać do Polski, that's a perfectly formed sentence. And it means I want to go to Poland. And you may say, oh, wait a minute, there is the verb in the infinitive form, pojechać, that's true, but that's not our main verb here. Our main verb here is chcę, chcę. And chcę comes from verb chcieć, which this is infinitive form of it. And chcę is already conjugated. You can also say, the same as we had before, ćwiczę, bo chcę być w formie. Ćwiczę, bo chcę być w formie. Ćwiczę, I exercise because I want to stay fit or I want to be fit. Again, if we take this first part and we just leave chcę być w formie, that's perfectly well-formed Polish sentence, and it means I want to stay fit, I want to be fit. And one more, a little bit different example. Przyjechałem do Polski, bo chcę nauczyć się polskiego. Przyjechałem do Polski, bo chcę nauczyć się polskiego. I came to Poland because I want to study Polish, or actually I want to learn Polish. So you probably noticed that this nauczyć się is a little bit different than what we had here, uczę się, like there is this na at the beginning. Yes, it's infinitive form, yes, but there is a na at the beginning, so it's kind of what is happening, right? But this na is actually, it's just showing us that this person wants to learn Polish, and this is like a complete action. So it's a perfective aspect of a verb. This means that it's already over, completed. Doesn't mean that it's already happened, but it means that I want to learn, like fully learn, finish it, not only like study and maybe fail. No, I want to learn and actually succeed. That's what nauczyć means, that's the difference. Uczę się means I'm studying now, but I still have a lot to learn. Nauczyć się here, it means that's already completed. So I came to Poland because I want to, maybe in the future, I chcę, that's not past, that's future, nauczyć się polskiego. In the future, because I want to fully learn Polish. That's why I came to Poland. I'm already in Poland. So again, you can change this present tense to past tense, and there is absolutely no problem with that. So let's wrap it up. We have two ways of giving reasons in Poland, and the major difference is the structure. And because the structure is a little bit different, the meaning on the second part, yeah, I had to add this word chcę, so it changes a little bit. And one way is to use żeby or aby, and you can use either, whichever you prefer, and those are always being followed by infinitive. So it can be one word, one verb, or it can be a phrase, but the verb in this phrase has to be in infinitive. Now, another way of saying, of giving reasons is to use bo. And bo is always followed by a sentence. So it cannot be followed only by infinitive verb. In this sentence, there can be infinitive verb, but there has to be conjugated verb as well. It has to be a sentence, basically. So those are our two ways of giving reasons in Polish. And please also remember that żeby, when it's followed by past tense, it can be used or actually it is used to give requests, to make requests, not reasons. So that the meaning changes. So this is very important, the infinitive part here. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please give us thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and go to polishpod101.com to get your free lifetime account. See you again. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's Marzena from polishpod101.com, and today I want to teach you the difference between two Polish prepositions, do and na. So today we are going to study the difference between na and do. And both of those prepositions, they translate into to in English. So both we can use when we talk about going somewhere. I'm going to my friend's house. I'm going to school. I'm going to work. I'm going to a party. And in English it's just one word and it covers it all. In Polish we have two words. And when you start learning Polish, you may first encounter do. And then right after you kind of learn na, and you are a little bit confused about how to use those and what to do and where to use it. So let's look at it today. Now, in most cases, you will use do, but let's start with na. So when do you use na? Once again, na translates as to, so when you're going to somewhere. And just let me really emphasize this. We are talking about going somewhere, moving somewhere, because we are talking about dynamic prepositions. Dynamic meaning that we are going somewhere. And na can be a dynamic preposition, but it can also be a static preposition when we are somewhere, like on or in English. And we are not talking about this. We are talking about dynamic preposition na. So with dynamic preposition na, we use it with accusative case. Accusative case, this means that when we conjugate, or when we change the word after na, the noun after na, we use it in accusative case. In accusative case. But this is only when we are talking about moving somewhere, not when we are talking about the static na. The static na we use with locative case, but this is not what we are going to talk about. So once again, after na, the noun is in accusative case. So don't forget to change it. And now, when do we use na? Well, first, we use na with islands or peninsulas. So when we are talking about going to an island, or when we are talking about going to a peninsula, we will use na. And the name of the island that follows, or the name of peninsula that follows, will be used in accusative case. So, for example, you can say, jadę na Majorkę. Jadę na Majorkę. Jadę na Majorkę means I'm going to Majorca. And jadę means to go somewhere by bus or by car or to fly somewhere, but not on foot. So jadę na Majorkę means I'm going to Majorca. Obviously, we are not walking there. Here we have another example. Jadę na Bali. Jadę na Bali. Jadę na Bali means I'm going to Bali. And both Majorca and Bali are in theirs accusative case. So usually if you go to a dictionary, you open, you see Majorca, you will have Majorca, not Majorkę. So once again, first we can use na with islands and peninsulas. What else? Well, when we go to an event, when we move to an event, when we go to an event, to a party, to a, I don't know, well, something like big opening or something like that, we use na. So, for example, you can say, idę na przyjęcie. Idę na przyjęcie. I'm going to a party. Idę na przyjęcie. And well, you can also change this idę to jadę. This will mean that I'm going by car or by bus or by ferry or whatever. But idę na przyjęcie, well, the basic image is that you are walking. Doesn't need, I mean, you can still write, but you are not stressing it out here. You are just saying idę, I'm going, but doesn't really say I'm riding. And another thing, you can say idę na wykład. Idę na wykład. Wykład is a lecture. So you see, lecture is also an event. Something happening in a place is an event. So idę na wykład means I'm going to a lecture. And again, I'm using idę, which usually means on foot, but doesn't really have to be. It's just stating the fact that I'm going there, but you can write. That's not a problem. Now, so those are the main 2 points. First, islands and peninsulas, and then events. But that's not all. There are some exceptions, of course. And I will just teach you 2 main exceptions here, because I think that those are the ones that you will probably encounter first starting learning Polish. But there are some more. So first one, when we use, oh, actually I'm going to teach you 3 exceptions, bonus one. So first we use it with the word poczta, poczta. The word poczta means post office. So when you are going to a post office, this is not an event, it's not an island or a peninsula, but you still use na. Jadę na pocztę. Jadę na pocztę. You can also say idę na pocztę, which would just imply that you are walking on your foot. Now, so the first one is post office, poczta. The second one is uniwersytet, uniwersytet, which is a university. And you can say jadę na uniwersytet. Jadę na uniwersytet. Jadę na uniwersytet. Again, universitet or university, it's not an event, it's a place. But yet you will use na. And it's definitely not an island, although I wish it would be. And the last one is lotnisko. Lotnisko. Lotnisko is an airport. And here as well, you will use na instead of the other one we will talk about. So, jadę na lotnisko. Jadę na lotnisko. So to put it all together, preposition na, when we go somewhere, we use with accusative case. This means that the noun that follows will be in accusative case, and we use it with names of islands, peninsulas. We also use it when we are going to an event, and there are some exceptions we just learned. Those 3 exceptions we just learned are poczta, post office, lotnisko, airport, and uniwersytet, university. For now, that's all about preposition na. Now let's look at the other one. So the other one is preposition do. Preposition do also translates as to, and we also use it when moving somewhere, when we are going somewhere. So when do we use do? Well, if na covers islands and events, and then there are some exceptions, then do covers everything else basically. So it's used in most cases when we are heading somewhere, when we are heading somewhere specific. For example, jadę do domu, jadę do domu, I'm going to my home, or home, but probably mine. Jadę do szkoły, jadę do szkoły, I'm going to school. Jadę do pracy, jadę do pracy, I'm going to work, and so on and so on. And of course you can change jadę into idę, which means just I'm doing it on foot, you know. Okay, now another usage or very specific usage. So when we go to an event, we use preposition na. But when we go to a person's place, we use preposition do. So for example, if I say I'm going to a party, then I will say idę na przyjęcie, which was exactly here, idę na przyjęcie. But if this party is organized in my friend's house, and just instead saying I'm going to a party, I'm just going to say I'm going to Tomek's place, Tomek being my friend's name, in Polish you would just say idę do Tomka. Idę do Tomka. You can also say, like, you have a friend Basia, and you are going to Basia's place, and maybe there is a party, but you don't mention the party. You're just saying, I'm going to Basia's place. Then in Polish you would say, idę do Basi. Idę do Basi. I'm going to Basia's place. Idę do Basi. Notice that those words here, those nouns here, they're all being changed into genitive form. So the genitive case. Okay, so we now know that do is used mostly when we are going somewhere, heading somewhere. If it wasn't covered by na, what we explained right now, then if we are going to somebody's place, also when we are going to a foreign country, we would use do. For example, jadę do Ameryki. Jadę do Ameryki. Or, so I'm going to America. Jadę do Japonii. Jadę do Japonii. I'm going to Japan. Jadę do Niemiec. Jadę do Niemiec. I'm going to Germany. Also, jadę do Anglii. I don't have this example here, but jadę do Anglii means I'm going to England. Jadę do Anglii. Now, England, and actually Japan as well, is an island, but we are not speaking about the island, we are speaking about the country, so we use do. Jadę do. So, once again, we said that we use na in kind of like very specific cases. First, when we have an island or peninsula. Then when we have an event, when we move to an event. And then I said, well, there are those three exceptions I really want you to remember because you will meet them in your real life. Now, we use do in most of the other cases. So if instead of an event, we have a name of a person we are going to, then we use do. And many other like everyday cases where we just move to somewhere specific that are not covered by this. Also countries, but there are some exceptions. First of all, those two countries I want you to remember. There are maybe some more, around 6 or 7, but there are those two that probably will come up in a conversation. So those I want you to remember. And those are jadę na Ukrainę, jadę na Ukrainę, jadę na Węgry, jadę na Węgry. So both Ukraina and Węgry are those exceptions, and as you probably, well, you can suspect that Ukraina is Ukraine and Węgry is Hungary, Hungary. So those two are exceptions, and because there are exceptions and we use them with na, there are here not in genitive case, but in accusative case. So we change the word accordingly to the preposition. One last thing I want you to tell, I want to tell you about those two prepositions. So one last thing I want to tell you about those two prepositions is that, well, generally you can think about it like do is going to somewhere specific, while na is more like heading into that direction. So you can use them to just, distinguish between those two meanings. Usually, if you are going to a city, you will use do. But let's look at those two examples. Jadę do Krakowa, jadę do Krakowa, jadę do Krakowa, jadę na Kraków, jadę na Kraków, jadę na Kraków. So what is the difference? As I said, well, generally, those are the rules that you have to remember, but just keep in mind that do is more specific and na is more broad, like just that direction, but not exactly there. In which case, you actually can make a sentence like this, or sentences, two sentences, to distinguish between those two meanings. And what it tells you is that jadę do Krakowa means I'm going to Krakow, or Krakow, which, well, I will end up in Krakow, hopefully. But jadę na Kraków, it means I'm heading into that direction, but, you know, maybe I will not go there. I'm just heading into Krakow's direction just to explain direction, but doesn't mean I'm going to Krakow. So I hope that makes it a little bit more clear, the meaning or the difference between meanings between those two is clearer right now, or so I hope. And let's just wrap it up again. So one more time, we have two dynamic prepositions when we move somewhere, and this is na and this is do, and both are being translated as to into English. Na is being followed by accusative case. Do is being followed by genitive case. This just means that you need to change the noun after that. And na is being used with, well, names of islands, peninsulas, or when we talk about an event, so when we go to an event. And then here are those three exceptions I want you to remember, which is post office, airport, and university. While do is being used in most of the other cases. And also when we go to somebody's place, to somebody's house, to somebody's place, when we just say the name of this person. I'm going to Tomek's, I'm going to Marta's, and so on, we use do. And also we use do with countries, but there are some exceptions, and two I want you to remember are Ukraine and Hungary. And then the overall meaning of do and na is just that, you know, do is more specific, na is more like heading that direction, which you can actually show in those two sentences here. Jadę na Kraków, jadę do Krakowa. So you can actually play with those meanings if you want to. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And please remember, if you liked it, just give us thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to go to polishpod101.com for more content like this. Thank you again and see you next time!
Cześć! Jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Polish. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Gotowi? Are you ready? Let's start. There are two ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest one. It's just one word. Dziękuję. Dziękuję. Dziękuję means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add bardzo. Dziękuję bardzo. If we want to thank a friend, usually we use a different, more casual word. Dzięki. Dzięki. Dzięki is very similar to the English thanks, so you shouldn't use it when your friend did something especially nice for you or when the situation is serious. We usually use it to thank for small favors. For example, if a friend bought a drink for us, lent us a pen, helped us carry our bags, and so on. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are two different ways to do it. The first is nie ma za co. Nie ma za co. This means you're welcome. Nie ma za co can be used with anybody, except in a very formal situation. In such cases, it's better to use this expression. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Literally, this phrase means pleasure is on my side. It's not a very common thing to say among young people or between friends and family members. but it will be considered very good manners if you answer with this expression in a formal situation, such as while talking to your boss or speaking to someone much older than you. You can also simply say it to someone you don't know very well. So when someone says dziękuję to you, you can reply with nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. If you hear dzięki, it might be a bit too much to respond to this casual phrase by saying nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. So how might you react then? You have two options. First one is just to say nothing. Don't worry, it's a normal thing to do. The second option is to say spoko. Spoko. This means something like it's cool. If you want, you can also answer using this phrase. Nie ma problemu. Nie ma problemu. This means it's no problem. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you want to keep it simple, just use dziękuję or dziękuję bardzo when you want to thank someone. It doesn't matter whether the situation is formal or informal. It's always the same. Remember not to say przyjemność po mojej stronie to your friends, because it will sound a little bit weird. If someone thanks you saying dzięki, just answer spoko. But please note that these two words are very casual. Do you know what do widzenia means? In our next lesson, you'll learn this and other greetings in Polish. Dziękuję i do zobaczenia na następnej lekcji.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.